Yo, what's poppin', my people? It's your big homie Crooks the Great, aka CTG, and I'm back at you guys with another banger of a UFC 5 video. And in today's video, we're going to be breaking down how Treehouse's notorious grappling style was shut down in the ESFL event that happened a couple weeks ago. Now, just a disclaimer, there's been a lot of controversy that's surrounded his opponent and if it was actually B3 Vano playing or not. So we're not going to be breaking it down and, looking at it from the standpoint of like giving Vano the credit. I just wanted to break down how the style was in general. So as we go along during the fight, I'm going to be calling Vano Max and I'll be calling Treehouse. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
Parker at ESFL 162, which was dominant. Not even a single punch landed by Ed Parker.
All right, now I want to touch on the Max pick here against Treehouse's Charles Oliveira. When I first seen this, because I watched this fight live, when I first seen this, I was really confused why somebody would go with Max Holloway against a Charles Oliveira, especially if you know Treehouse is known for submissions. So I thought it was really interesting that Treehouse's opponent actually went with Max Holloway. But as we go along in the fight, you guys are going to see exactly why he picked Max Holloway.
We'll see Vano is patient. We have to make sure to use his IQ. Though he is a bit of a slow starter, but with that Ed Parker bout in mind, he has to be watch out because Treehouse, grappling wizard, a submission specialist, and he's a digital Gordon Ryan there.
All right, now I want to touch on what he just did right there. Even in the first 20 seconds of the fight, you see Max is immediately throwing that straight lead uppercut combination. Now, if you guys know anything about Treehouse, Treehouse is known for slip clinches. He's known for doing good work out of the clinch, and he's known for his double leg bails into rolling or jiu-jitsu sweeps, getting takedowns and stuff like that. So those are generally the ways he gets the takedowns. He doesn't really shoot too much for turning takedowns and stuff like that. So what his opponent did here, straight off the rip, is establish that straight lead uppercut combination. And what that's going to do is it's going to force Treehouse to either slip clinch him or to try to strike with him or to immediately go to these double leg bails, right? So it takes out one aspect of the takedowns. It takes away a takedown threat immediately off the rip by throwing that combination, as well as it starts to stack up damage if he doesn't block it. Which, if you go up against people that you know are looking for clinches, they're not holding block because they're trying to input that clinch animation, and they leave themselves vulnerable to this combination all the damn time. So when you run into a guy that's trying to clinch you in ranked championships or something like that, popping that straight lead uppercut combination is the best route to go, as well as you've seen him already using that push animation. That's going to keep Treehouse off at distance and really going to force him to double leg bail, right? So very important things that he's established straight off the rip.
Patented Tree-Jitsu.
There's a nice sprawl.
Is crazy, man.
And we see immediately going to what he's good at. Treehouse, as Oliveira gets the takedown off the clinch into side control, and this is exactly where he wants to be.
I've seen a lot of Tree. He's looked really good.
All right, now Treehouse was able to chain some things together, which he does very well. The guy's a very good grappler. He shot for that takedown. He got sprawled. He immediately went up, got the push down to the cage, took the back, hit a turning takedown off of the cage. But what his opponent is doing well right here is he immediately regained his half guard, and he's not allowing Treehouse to get into that full mount very easily. Now, why this is going to be beneficial, and to tie it back to where the Max Holloway pick, is he's making Treehouse work, right? Every single time Treehouse gets denied, that long-term stamina is going to go down, right? It's going to start to go down the more he's denied. So the more he's denied, the higher the long-term stamina is going to go in the favor of Max Holloway. Because we all know Max Holloway has really good cardio in this game. He can go for days. So that's why Treehouse's opponent picks Max Holloway, because he knew it was going to be a stamina battle. and the higher the cardio, the higher his long-term stamina was going to be able to last. So he's doing a good job of not giving full mount up very easily so far, but let's see how the way that it plays out.
Saw the performance against Ed Parker was phenomenal. I was absolutely mind blown about what he did to Ed Parker. It was a crazy watch, really. But what I'm most impressed of is the amount of people talking about this guy. I've got my ears in many places, and even in my own stream chat when I'm streaming, they say, bro, Treehouse is the man. And this is one I'm very excited to call on the commentary booth. As soon as I see this matchup on the card, I was very excited once I got the call up for the comms booth. And so far, he has not disappointed. He's looked very dominant in all of his fights. Already has this Max Holloway on the floor.
All right, now Treehouse did a very, very good job, and he does a really, really good job of this when you watch his streams. He doesn't immediately go for submissions when he gets up there, when he gets into full mount. He's going to posture up, try to rain down ground and pound strikes on you, try to end the combination with an elbow or a hook or something like that to try to get major damage off on you, to lower that short-term stamina down. So that way when he does go for the submission, he's gonna have a little bit of an easier time doing so. But here, his opponent did a really good job of not allowing him to land a lot of heavy ground and pound strikes. Now, albeit because he was mount bobbleheading, which kind of made this fight, I believe, a no contest at the end of the day. But he was able to avoid getting that damage done. And now look at where they're at with the arm triangle, right? Treehouse and guys like Treehouse that love submissions, they love to get into a submission with a stamina advantage. And that's not the case right here. He's at a disadvantage because his opponent's stamina is up farther than his is. Now, what this means is if he just holds R1 and goes to cook the stamina and his opponent holds R1, they're both going to drain, but Treehouse is going to run out of stamina before his opponent does, which is going to make it that much harder to get a submission, right? It's going to make it that much harder to get a submission. Now, what's happening in the game currently with this specific position with the arm triangle is if Treehouse fakes and his opponent bites on it, it's going to drain that long-term stamina down or that short-term stamina down, and it'll give Treehouse the advantage. This is not the way it was meant to happen from what I've heard from a lot of game changers. This is not the way it was supposed to happen, but right now, currently, that's the way it is in the game. So that's Treehouse's only way to potentially get this submission right here on his opponent. So let's see how Max here goes about dealing with that.
Going for this early submission, do you just think B3 Vanio needs to have just drilled a lot of these submission defenses in his camp?
Yeah, absolutely. They're just 100% jiu-jitsu defense training camp. Where do you go?
Now, what happened right there was really, really interesting, and I feel like Treehouse made a really big mistake because instead of faking, he didn't go for the fakes. He immediately went for the arm triangle, and his opponent blocked it. So that's what drained. He went for it twice, and that's what drained his stamina all the way down to about 50% and made it really, really easy for Max to get out of there. But I'm surprised he really didn't go for the fakes because that's really what Treehouse is known for. But good job on his opponent's part for reading that and really being able to get out of that tough position, because this is a confidence killer. Because this is really establishing and letting Treehouse know you're not just going to sub me really, really easily, my guy.
Going up against a name like Treehouse, who's part of that Octo camp, who's been performing quite well this night. But back to his feet, and we'll see. Should have a very big advantage on the feet. But
there's that combination
Treehouse
again.
Reaching for another clinch, getting interrupted, but that doesn't stop him from going for another one. Another
Inside
big
saddle throw.
takedown. That's stuff Vanio cannot be giving away. 2 minutes to go, and he's back on the ground.
You do see there past a full mount and a denial for Treehouse early so far. Vanio looking good on the feet. But it's just as soon as this Charles Oliveira pick starts grabbing your neck, you're in all sorts of panic stations. You don't want to be here on the bottom of Treehouse after watching, you're watching tape on him and you've just watched him sub Ed Parker in half a round.
All right, so you guys see exactly what I just did right there. what Treehouse just did right there is exactly what I told you he was going to do. He postures up. He's trying to land those heavy ground and pound shots on the ground, and then he's going to go for that arm triangle. His opponent did a really good job of understanding that that's what he was trying to do, and immediately blocked that arm triangle so that way he didn't get put in that position again. So it's a good job on his part, really reading that that's the tendency that Treehouse has.
And you're thinking, what am I meant to do here, bro? You know, so you've really got to get to the lab and work on this sub defense. But, you know, early again in this first round with a minute to go, you find yourself in top mount, subs, big shots raining down, the subs are getting threatened. You know, he's trying to grab your arm, trying to grab your neck. There's a lot of things to think about here. But, you know, if you're Vaniel here, you just really need to survive these 50 seconds.
Now, I want you guys to see what I was talking about earlier with the stamina, right? Look at where Treehouse's stamina is at because his opponent has made him work. And this could be very, very important for you guys that run into grapplers. If you can make them work and make it as difficult as possible for them to submit you or for them to get into dominant positions really where they want to be at, you can start to gas them out just a little bit because you see Treehouse's stamina right here is what? I would say that's about 15 to 20% drained already. His long-term stamina health. And look at Max Holloway's. It's about at 10%. In between 10 and 15. But Treehouse is already clearly at a disadvantage, right? So that was the strategy of his opponent here. His opponent wanted to make him work. And even if he was going to win a round, like he really is winning the round right here, he's not getting into positions where he could end the fight. He's trying to drag this fight out as long as possible, and the longer he drags this fight out, the more drain that long-term stamina is going to get, and the more opportunity he's going to have in the later rounds to get a finish, right? So it was a really, really good strategy by Max here, and it was a really, really smart read on his part too to know that Treehouse doesn't just go for the arm triangles here. He usually goes for the triangle choke as well from here instead of the arm bar. So very, very good job on the read because he denied it previously. So far, it's been a really, really well executed game plan, even though he's losing this first round.
Restart, because every round does start back on the feet curve.
In my opinion.
For sure, and as we noted at the beginning of the fight, Vaniel was a bit of a slow starter, so kind of to be expected that he gives up round one, though we definitely don't want Treehouse getting too much of advantage. Fortunately for Vaniel,
there's a denial again.
Any of his sub meters so far, so still lots of room, 2 rounds to go in this fight for him to stage a comeback, but very disheartening to just be trapped with Treehouse like glue on top, just heading out with a couple of just punches, pitter patter. Definitely a dominant round in Treehouse's favor, though perhaps not quite enough for a 10-8, but a strong 10-9 in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree, a strong 10-9, but you do see there in the highlights, the tail of the highlights was the punches.
All right, now I want to pause it right here because I want to tell you guys, although it was a good round for Treehouse because he did have the control time, and he did get him into an arm triangle, so that is going to sway the judges. It can potentially sway the judges in Treehouse's favor, but the confidence is really what is going to play a big factor into the rest of the fight. Now Max knows, hey, you know what? I can deny this. I survived on the ground against him. I know what he's trying to go for. I got a lot of the denials. I lowered that long-term stamina health. Now the confidence is really in the favor of Treehouse's opponent here. And Treehouse probably is getting a little frustrated because he wants to get him out of there. He doesn't want to continue to drag this fight out because the longer this fight drags out, he knows he's exerting a lot of long-term stamina. He really, really is. So he wants to get him out of there. So the confidence really and the momentum is really all on the side of his opponent.
And to be fair, you look at the 6 strikes numbers, you know, the judges do think of that. I feel like I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's a split round. I'm going to say that's a split round. I'll say one judge definitely give that to Vaniel for the strikeout. But a big rock here from Vaniel, you know, and this will be a very big win if he can get this one. I believe
I want to go back and rewatch that real quick. We'll go back to the start of the round.
I feel like I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's a split round.
There's a
I'm going to say
straight.
that's a split round. I'll say one judge definitely give that to Vanio for the.
Now look at that was all set up off of him throwing those straight lead uppercuts. He threw straight lead uppercut a lot. Treehouse got tagged by it a lot because he goes for the regular clinches. So what his opponent forced him to do, which is something that Treehouse does a lot, is he slip clinches, right? Which he slips to the left, he slips to the right to avoid the straight shot to try to grab the clinch. His opponent knew that's what he was going to do in the second round, and he countered with that elbow. He countered with the elbow, was able to land a two-piece, and immediately got that rock off on Treehouse. Smart, high fight IQ stuff. It's knowing your opponent. It's reading your opponent and understanding what they're good at, what they like to do, and countering it and making them pay for it. So it's a very, very smart read.
For the strike output, but a big rock here from Vaniao, and this will be a very big win if he can get this one. I believe only one judge will give you that for the strike output, and the rest will give it based on the control time on the mat. But it's going to be a very interesting second round here, as we do see a big rock there from Vaniao. Big overhand does land, whips him into the clinch. Does throw him back down to the ground, feet on hips, nice denial, straight back to his feet for Max Holloway, and this is where he needs to be. He needs to just be heavy on that L2R2, not get taken down. You do see there, Max Holloway's hands low, double leg bow, does go for the trip, that's nice.
All right, now I want to pause it right there, because that was a really, really good job, right? I told you guys at the beginning, Treehouse is known for getting those clinches and going for the double leg bails, right? So, he went for the double leg bail. His opponent knew that Treehouse was going to go for that. So what he did was, hey, you know what? Once he gets me into the double leg bail, I'm going to hit R1 in circle, and I'm going to get the trip. And even if he denies it, we're going to be stood right back up to our feet. For those of you guys that don't know about the inside trip from the bails, it's R1 in circle or R1 and X, I believe. It's R1 in circle or R1. R1 in circle for sure. I believe it might be R1 in triangle. It's one of those. You're gonna have to go in practice mode because I don't get a lot of people double leg bailing me anymore. So it's very, very it's been a while. So but the trip is R1 in circle if you're in orthodox for sure, and I believe R1 in triangle if you're in southpaw. And this trip takes priority over anything that your opponent does. So if they're trying to go for the jiu-jitsu sweep, which Treehouse loves to do to get into full mount, it takes priority over that, which means it's going to play out. The animation is going to play out quicker, which means you're going to get the trip, and it also plays out quicker than them taking your back as well. So very, very high fight IQ again by his opponent, knowing, hey, you know what? As soon as I get stuck in that double leg bail, I'm immediately going for that trip.
Gets him back to the reset, so he can walk backwards, get back to the center of the cage, keep away from the cage because you don't want him to bail you up against it, and a straight into the lead uppercut, into the rear hook, single leg, another nice denial. And if Vano can do this for the next 2 rounds, I think he can win.
Yeah, for sure, he's definitely heating up in the defensive grappling round. We saw him deny the clinch with a straight punch, shucking off takedown attempts after takedown attempts, and that nice bail afterwards. You can tell he did drill his takedown defense, and good shape, but unfortunately, breaks out of that clinch there. 3 minutes to go in this round. So far in his favor, but Treehouse just needs to get you to the ground once, and it could be a long.
All right, I wanna stop it right there to touch on what exactly just happened. Treehouse went for the double leg bail. His opponent went for the trip. He denied it. Treehouse was able to get that advanced clinch position. I think it's the plum clinch. I'm sorry. Maybe. Anyways, he was able to get a higher advanced clinch position, and then he tried to go for the takedown, but his opponent knew that that's what he was going to try to do, and immediately denied it. It played out so fast, but he did a good job of reading it. Once again, high fight IQ stuff.
Long night from there, but fantastic just turn in the momentum there from Vaniao from round 1 to now. It's looking like a completely different bout.
It is looking completely different. Vaniao has sort of downloaded the takedowns of this Charles Oliveira pick, and he's kept on his feet this whole round, doing very well. Got that big stunt early, and
All right, now you can see right here that Treehouse is starting to get really frustrated. He's gotten all his takedowns denied. He's run through everything that he has in his repertoire, really, for getting the takedowns, right? He's gone through everything and everything has been denied. So now you see him start to get a little bit frustrated and do things that he does not normally do, which is he's trying to close the distance with strikes instead of just walking forward like he was in the first round. And that was really a telltale sign as to how effective his opponent's game plan really was wearing on Treehouse. Not only just in terms of the game with the long-term stamina, but also in the confidence that Treehouse has.
With them striking numbers, he could have definitely even won the first.
There's another double leg bell in the inside trip.
To see how this one goes as this one gets to the last stages, and a slip clinch there, goes for another takedown, and a nice denial again from Venio, and another double leg bow, and it's just such a frustrating play style to play against because you've really just got to have all your wits about you, but Venio's doing it perfectly here, Croden.
Yeah, firing on all cylinders in the defensive department. You can't let your concentration slip for a moment or you'll find yourself with your back stuck to the mount. Another clinch attempt shucked off there. Just a masterful performance of anti-grappling so far, with a minute left to go in round 2 and very strongly in favor of Venio. And even if he did get him to the ground, like you said with round 1, not too much achieved by Treehouse. Possible judge gave it to Venio, and this round definitely Venio's favor. So he could be looking at 2-0 on at least one of the judges' scorecards, if not 1-1 across the board.
Now that was slick right there. That was really, really slick. Treehouse got him in a standing guillotine, which is another way, right? Is another thing that Charles Oliveira has. His opponent was able to block it. He immediately knew, hey, you know what? He did it. He hasn't got me down with a takedown. I know what he's gonna do. He's gonna get me, clinch me, go for the standing gilly. I'm not gonna have that, so I immediately deny that. And look at what I was talking about earlier. His game plan was to start making Treehouse work, right? Denying, making Treehouse work. And look at that long-term stamina, man. That long-term stamina lead that Max Holloway has on Charles Oliveira is massive now. It was very slight in the first round, right? But look at, with all this denial and all the work that he's made Treehouse do in this second round, he's really built a strong lead in the long-term stamina. And that's exactly what you want to do against grapplers. If you can get you're a grappler to be at this big of a stamina disadvantage in the long term, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to come back.
Ooh, standing guillotine shucked off right there. Very nice defense by Venio.
Very nice defense from Venio there to keep him off, but 10 seconds left. For me, this is where you can just start throwing a big 3-piece combination. But that is the round 1, I believe, for Venio, and I feel like we do have a 1-1 situation going into this third. I mean, it could be a 2-0 somewhere along the lines, but I do believe it is a 1-1 situation majority going into this last one. So this last one is going to be very interesting. Venio's going to be very locked in this round to not get taken down. Touch of gloves, nice show of respect between these two competitors. We'll give you a play-by-play as this happens. Takedown there.
So there was another denial.
He's locked in on them takedowns, and he just needs to let these combos.
All right, so right at the beginning of this third round, you can see the confidence and the momentum is all to Max Holloway. Treehouse is frustrated. You can feel it. You can kind of see it at the end of that second round. And really, his opponent is just really doing a good job of denying everything. And when you get denied as a grappler, you can't get the fight to the ground. It really shoots down your confidence. So I'm pretty sure Treehouse is super frustrated right here already. He's getting the clinches, but he's not being able to get him down.
Rip, get this damage, and
so look,
keep Charles
another judo throw doesn't get him down.
Another denial, and Treejitsu just not working. Digital Gordon Ryan just not working at the moment. But he does get a takedown there.
He gets right back up to the feet.
Pushes him straight off, clinches, slips it, pushes him, and so far so good. Some very good denials from Venio, but Treehouse is not going to stop, bro.
Now you see right there, it was a really, really good adjustment by Max right there, because Treehouse shot for the takedown, and he's anticipating, hey, you know what, that trip's coming, so I have to deny it. So it makes him just stand there, and he's inputting the denial already because the inside trip is so quick. So his opponent used that to his advantage and got him in the plum clinch this time instead of going for that trip, and it even made for an easier time for him to get out of there. And he even could have potentially landed a couple of solid knees if Treehouse didn't read it fast enough. So just adding wrinkles onto takedown defense, and then different wrinkles to set up offensive opportunities for him in the clinch too. It's really beautiful to see.
Right, he's got another 4 minutes of this.
Yeah, like I said, cannot
There's
lose
that
his
straight lead
concentration.
uppercut
It's
combo.
very telling with the
There's the
default
takedown.
defensive posture of Vanio, holding, walking backwards with his block down most of the time, getting ready for the takedowns, but still adapting nicely to the clinches. But now they're in this extended grappling position.
All right, now a really good job right here by Max against Treehouse, because Treehouse didn't deny the inside trip this time. He actually let him take him down. It was a really good job by Max to, unfortunately, he got stuck in a transition when he got put into full guard, but he did a really good job of understanding that Charles Oliveira has that rubber guard. So he did a really good job of reading it with a quickness. You know what I mean?
So even though Vanio is on top, it's not where he wants to be, and we see quickly get out of that quicksand, back to his feet, 3.5 minutes to go, and he still wants to establish some striking to make sure the judges see this round in his favor. But it's hard with this unstoppable volume of takedowns at him by Treehouse. But beautiful.
All right, inside trip, outside trip. It's a trip either way. I know y'all are going to grill me if I'm getting it wrong.
From both gentlemen. I'm seeing Treehouse going for them bows, allowing him to take him down, because it's the only way Oliveira is getting Vanio to the mat at the moment with them counter takedowns. So he's doing that, hoping to get full guard to get a position. So it's very smart from Treehouse, but just not working. And what I'm seeing from Vanio there, as when Charles Oliveira did get back to the full guard, he immediately denied.
Now, you see everything that Max is doing right here is everything that he's already been doing in the fight, right? And this seems so damn easy to do, but this is difficult. This is really difficult to do. Not a lot of people can do this throughout a 3-round fight. It's really hard to do, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to stress the importance of it, because this is a masterpiece of defensive grappling. He's doing a really good job of denying everything. He's denying the standing gillies. He's denying the double leg bells with the trip. He's denying when he gets on the ground, he was put into bad situations. He was able to get out. I mean, he's putting himself in positions to win the fight by denying everything and having really good defensive grappling. It's crazy.
Rubber guard and then power
and nobody expected this out of him.
Up to get back to his feet, and we have 2 minutes left, and I believe Vanio here winning. But this is a position that's interesting.
Standing he finally got the standing gilly.
Drops into
but
it.
Look at that stamina.
Jiu-jitsu is in full effect, and we see him go for that guillotine, but a nice denial. Stamina gone. He should get a free transition out here because the stamina is completely gone, and he's Treehouse all out of options, as we will see him there escape into the half guard position. What will be the optive choice? Does he?
Now, the only reason why, well, not the only reason, but you see what happens by making somebody work and draining that long-term stamina health or long-term stamina down. It made it really hard to get that standing gilly because he's at such a big disadvantage at the long-term stamina that all his opponent really needed to do was wait it out. There's no fake out of that position that's going to drain the stamina down like with the arm triangle. So there was no chance that Treehouse was really going to get it.
Does he stay here? Does he opt for a power posture just to get back to his feet? But here we are back in full guard, dangerous, just needs the power posture and get back up. And then he does opt for it, staying away from that tree jitsu. And Vanio for an absolute perfect fight up until now. With 1 minute 10 left. And I believe so far so good for Vanio in this third and final round card.
Yeah, for sure. And starting from the second round, just shut down all the grappling offense of Treehouse. Very cathartic performance for any Ed Parker fans.
Ooh, got a heel hook.
How that bout went. But
this could be trouble.
Is always dangerous. We see him going for
once again, he's at that long-term stamina disadvantage.
Vanio with a bit of stamina advantage does get the backside. Maybe he gets some
punches
off here. But wow, I wouldn't be surprised.
The work was done early.
See a 30-27 on the cards. Masterful defensive performance here by Vanio.
Just spectacular as we go here for 10 seconds, trying to rain down some strikes. And, you know, from Treehouse, Is his striking that bad? Like I respect him for not giving up on the game plan.
All right, and that was how Treehouse's opponent was able to shut down his game plan, man. I mean, everything that happened in that last round was set up in the first and second round. The anti-grappling, the good defensive grappling that Treehouse's opponent showed in this fight really is the blueprint on how to beat this style, right? It is. If you can execute from denial to denial to denial to denial to denial and make an offensive grappler / submission artist work and drag the fight out, that's how you counteract beating these heavy grappling styles. And that's how, like I said, there's controversy around Vano, but I guess I'll say his name now. That's how Vano seemed like at this moment he was able to defeat Treehouse, was really just working the anti-grappling, the defensive grappling, putting himself in advantageous spots, and understanding the opponent that he was going against. I guarantee you, they probably studied the hell out of Treehouse because he is a content creator and he fights this way against everybody, not just against people in the ESFL. He does this in rank. That's what allows him to climb on the leaderboard and stuff like that, so as high as he does. So they just went in and really studied it and understood the tendencies that Treehouse had and really took advantage of it and really came out unscathed. You know what I'm saying? That's how they were able to dominate this fight. And it was a beautiful, beautiful performance, man. Really a beautiful, beautiful performance by Treehouse's opponent. But that's it for the video, guys. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to slap that subscribe button as well as slap that like button. So that way this video does get tossed into the YouTube algorithm. And if there's anything that I need to clarify that I broke down on in this video, please let me know. Drop a comment in the comment section and let me know if you guys want to see me, if there's a fight that you guys want to see me break down or a play style that you guys want to see me break down that I haven't already. I'm taking suggestions in the comment section. But until next time, guys, take it easy, be safe, enjoy the rest of your guys' day, afternoon, evening, depending on where you guys are watching this from. And I will see you guys in the next video.